Hey guys, welcome back to the Dr. Cliff AUD vlog. This is vlog number 125, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about why hearing aids are about to get a whole lot more expensive. But before I do, if you could do me a huge favor, click that like button, let me know that you like this content, and while you're at it, if you are not yet subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button with notification bell so you get notified when I post these videos. Now, if you guys missed my video that I posted like late last night about Justin Bieber and his facial paralysis, that was kind of like an extra video I just threw in this week because it was such big news that just came out like 2 days ago. But with that out of the way, really appreciate it, guys. So let's talk about more of this inflation thing. Now, I know I talked about inflation a couple of weeks ago, but there's been new stuff that's been happening since I made that video. So I felt like I need to kind of revisit what's actually going on inside of the hearing aid industry right now. So back at the beginning of the year, so beginning of 2022, a lot of different hearing aid manufacturers, some of the major hearing aid manufacturers, announced that they were going to be rolling out a approximately 3% increase in cost of goods, right? So like increasing the cost of the hearing aids that my clinic would buy from the manufacturer, and then from that point, you know, I sell them or dispense them to a patient in my clinic, right? And we're like, oh, okay, like, you know, that's, I mean, 3% is a big deal. I mean, when you purchase as many units or hearing aids from these manufacturers that we do, a 3% increase is a pretty big increase that definitely affects the profitability of our particular clinic and of any clinic that's out there, really. Well, we just got word for, like in the last 2 weeks that pricing was going up by another 6.5% here in basically July. And this is happening from a lot of the big manufacturers out there as well. So we're starting to see significant price increases from this inflationary mess that we have on our hands here in the United States. And I believe that this is the same problem around the world. And I would be surprised because a lot of these manufacturers do sell hearing aids in different countries. I would imagine that these price increases are rolling out essentially all around the world at this point. But what that creates is basically we now have almost a 10% increase in the cost of goods for these hearing aids inside of our clinics. Now, I'm a part of a lot of different forums on Facebook and just online in general that are very specific to hearing care professionals, and a lot of them being clinic owners. You know, I'm a clinic owner myself, and so a lot of us, you know, interact together and ask questions and get advice and stuff like that. And the thing that I'm noticing is that there's a lot of clinic owners that are like, we're pretty much screwed. I mean, that almost erodes all of our profit margin inside of the clinic. And I'm just like, man, that is a really rough thing. And, you know, a lot of audiologists and a lot of hearing instrument specialists and clinic owners and all that, when this stuff is coming out, they're like, how am I going to absorb this so my patients don't have to feel the pain of it? And so that's kind of where we're all at right now. I mean, when the 3% increase came out, we did not increase our pricing at all. We basically absorbed all of that. Well, now when we're getting hit with another 6.5% increase, the question becomes is how much of that are we going to have to pass on to our patients once that increase actually occurs, right? And I know that there's a lot of other clinics that, you know, I hate to say it this way, but there's a lot of clinics out there who do not focus on a really high level of quality of service and quality of care that don't charge a whole lot, right? Like they're trying to serve a part of the community that is that cannot afford going with a really high level clinic like my clinic, right? Where we perform best practices to a T. It's a great patient experience when you come into the clinic, or at least that's what we attempt it to be. And it costs us more money to give that type of experience, but we can absorb that better than a clinic that's really just trying to you know, provide a very basic level service for their patients. And for them to absorb the entire amount, that's just going to be impossible. They would go out of business if they had to try to absorb the entire amount of cost of goods. Now, this is just from hearing aid manufacturers. There's a bunch of other stuff that is going up in price and is going up in price significantly. And essentially, what's going to happen here is that I think that some clinics will be able to absorb part of it. I don't think that there's a clinic out there that's going to be able to absorb a full darn near 10% increase in cost of goods, along with all the other increases that are going to happen with these clinics, with all of this inflation that's going on. But what I think is going to happen is that there is going to be a marked increase in the cost of care that individuals receive from a clinic and the cost of hearing aids in general that individuals receive from a clinic. And so here's kind of like my warning, like at some point this year, when you buy hearing aids, they are going to be more expensive than what they are right now, and potentially significantly more expensive, because when you start looking at the pricing inside of the hearing aid industry, so there are some clinics that are entirely unbundled. So what that means is that you go in and you're like, okay, you're recommending hearing aids to me, I need to purchase those hearing aids, and you basically buy them for whatever that clinic purchased them from the manufacturer for. But literally everything else is an additional charge. So like the testing's an additional charge, the fitting of those hearing aids is an additional charge, the servicing of those hearing aids is an additional charge from now until forever when you have those hearing aids. And so what will happen is that you are going to end up paying for the increase in the cost of those devices, and then there's probably going to be another increase added to all of those different services to cover the other inflationary costs that these clinics are having to go through, and will be continuing to go through, I'm guessing, for the rest of this year and potentially beyond for another year. Who knows, right? And so that's one of them. And the other one is bundled care. So when you start looking at bundled care, essentially what happens is these clinics will purchase devices from manufacturers. They'll add all the services into the cost of the device that will make that price go up that you have to pay. But then all your services are kind of included inside of that cost. But a lot of these clinics, they're going to increase the entire cost of that by this 9.5%. So it's going to be a pretty substantial increase in the cost. Now, of course, like I said before, some of them might only increase it 3%, 5%, 6%, whatever, but some are going to increase it close to 10%, and who knows, they may increase it even more on top of that to cover whatever other expenses that they have. And then there you have hybrid clinics that kind of do a mix of both, where they might have a little bit of markup on the hearing aids, they have bundled packages that you purchase, and then you pay for them that way. But no one is immune to this, right? I mean, I don't care how your hearing care professional chooses to dispense these devices, things are going to start getting more expensive. And just like anything, when there's a significant price increase, small businesses who suffers, right? And I know that there's a big contingent of individuals out there who think that all audiologists and hearing instrument specialists that work inside of a private clinic are all like con artists, and they're just money hungry or whatnot. But they are small business owners. They are just trying to make an honest living by serving a need that their community has, right? I mean, there's not Costco's everywhere. I mean, there's a lot of Costco's, but there are a ton of places that are extremely rural, or there's Costco's that are extremely busy that you just cannot get in to get care in a timely manner. And there's people who need to get service from these private practice clinics. In fact, private practice audiologic care has been substantially increasing, and even quicker than what the big box stores are. So there's definitely a need for private practice audiology, but a lot of those small business owners are going to start feeling the pinch. And I wouldn't be shocked if there are clinics that end up having to either close their doors permanently because of the price increases, or that end up selling to larger groups, and then these clinics become corporatized, right? Where like the quality of care, to be quite honest with you, typically drops down substantially from a clinic owner who's actually an owner and operator of their particular clinic. So I guess what I'm saying here is that if you are on the fence about treating your hearing loss, and you're like, I think I might treat my hearing loss in 2022, it's like you should probably go out right now and do your hearing test, your consultation, and get started with hearing treatment, because I want to say it's going to be in July that a lot of these price increases actually take hold. And so if you can get in before that point, you're going to end up beating these price increases that are definitely coming. Like I'm telling you right now, everything's going to be more expensive by the end of this year than it is right now. And this is not me trying to be like, oh, let's try to drive up sales. Like, no, I'm telling you to help you and to help you save money, to purchase hearing treatment now rather than waiting if you were on the fence. Now, if you're someone who is looking for new technology, right? If you're surfing my channel, be like, oh, what's the best hearing aid that's out there right now? That best hearing aid will be more expensive at the end of the year than it will be right now. And so if you are considering upgrading your technology, you had better do that closer to right now than towards the end of the year, right? And I don't know what stuff you got going on this summer. I mean, you might have vacations and things like that that might interrupt with the fitting sequence of a new set of devices, but to at least get the hearing aids, get the initial fitting done with them is going to put you in a better financial position than waiting towards the end of the year. Okay, so hopefully I've kind of given you the feeling that, like, if you're going to do something anyway, just do it now. If you're like, no, I'm going to wait a bit, then that's fine. Like, you do what you want to do for your own hearing health, but just know that it is going to be more expensive if you wait down the road. And once prices go up, so this is something that I learned again from my dad, and Dad, you're getting another shout out on this video 2 weeks in a row, go figure. I think that will make it so I don't have to mention my dad again for another 6 months at least, right? But I remember back when gas prices went up, I think I was in high school or just out of high school. And what happened is that all of the inputs, so like the fertilizer, the fuel and all that stuff to run the farm, all of those went up. Right, and then when prices of gas and all that came down, guess what didn't come down? The inputs that it took to actually run the farm. So like, it was still really expensive for seed, it was expensive for fertilizer, it was expensive for the different herbicides and pesticides and all of that he needed to use on the farm to keep the plants growing and all of that, right? So like, even when prices came back down, everything stayed back up. So basically what I'm saying here is that once you take the cat out of the bag, you can't get it back in the bag. So the prices that increase over the course of the rest of this year and potentially even through next year, and who knows, this is 2 price increases from a cost of goods standpoint within 6 months, right? So like, it could happen again. If we keep on this 8.6% inflation that we have right now, there's a chance that next year there's another 8 to 10% increase in cost of goods, and then just cost of treatment in general. So once that cat is out of the bag, you typically cannot get it back in the bag. Once these prices go up, even if inflation comes down, guess what? The prices are still going to be what they are going to be, and they're likely going to be at a higher level. I don't care where you get hearing aids from. So that is just my warning for you guys at this point. I felt like this was a very timely point to kind of bring that out, to kind of give you a warning that things are about to change. So if you're going to do something, do it now rather than later, okay? I promise you will not regret it. If you choose to treat your hearing loss, obviously that's going to be great in and of itself, but to do it for less money now than what it would cost you in 2 to 3 months from now is even better, all right? That is all that I wanted to share with you guys today. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, again, go ahead and give it that like, and as always, I'll see you next week.